I got a new shirt that my aunt made for me. Artist in the Wild. Hello and welcome back to HOB TV, better known as House of Bones Television. But you know, you gotta break it down in an acronym and whatnot. And guess what? We are back with another recap. This is Project Runway Season 22, Episode 6 recap. So we are moving right along. We're getting about halfway through the season at this point. Things are getting a little like tight and tense, okay? So we get back in this episode and there are people still left on the stage from episode 5. We are left with B, Bryan, Naheem, and Jeffrey. B and Bryan are taken off stage because basically the judges are like, it's a tie, we don't want to break it, so both of y'all, just, you're safe, okay? So now we're left with Jeffrey and Naheem on stage. Drum roll please, boom, Naheem takes the cake, he gets the $20,000, and I know he's excited because I would be excited. After we get the news that Naheem is the winner, we get a look backstage and Elizabeth is breaking down. She is crying. She is like, Law is about to chew me up on this stage. One of my favorite producers on the show, Abby, she is backstage trying to calm her down and, you know, just trying to make sure that she's okay, because the girl is really going through it at this point. So we get back to the runway now and Elizabeth unfortunately got the Avita Zane. So that means Bobby is still in the competition. So we're now at 8 designers. The designers have to create a red carpet ready look for none other than Heidi Klum. Anne Hathaway pops up on the screen and she's giving them a little like encouragement, a hint of inspiration, a hint of word of advice. The contestants are told they have $700 to shop and only 1 day for this challenge. Red carpet ready in 1 day for Heidi Klum, Devil Wears Prada. It's a whole lot going on. The designers go to move, they do their shop, we get back to the workroom and the tension is high in there. Joseph McCray is already talking about, I don't trust anybody, and honestly I don't blame him because everybody just tried to vote me out, so now I don't trust nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody, I don't got nothing to say. Another little something that's going on is Jude is missing his fabric. No matter what season, it never fails that somebody forgets their fabric at Mood. So Bryan allows for Jude to use some of his fabrics. Even though Jude told the judges last week that Bryan was the weakest link, he still allowed him to use the fabric, which I think is a little bit of a scheme and a plot set up by Todd, but it's okay, because I know Bryan is up to something. As the designers are working, Christian comes in and says we have a special guest coming into the workroom, and it's none other than Molly Rogers, who is the costume director for Devil Wears Prada 1 and 2. So she's going around giving everyone her thoughts, her opinions, and her critiques, which is really, really helpful. They tell Joseph that the look is a little bit too cartoonish. Christian is once again questioning everything that Naheem is standing on. They tell Jeffrey that they love the pink fabric that he's working with. They told Anna to stick to the nude illusion because Heidi loves that kind of stuff. Bobby's making something. They love the color that she's working with, but not really sure about the construction. After all the walkthroughs are over, Christian then reveals to the designers the winning designer for this week is now gonna get to choose who the bottom 3 are for this challenge, and once again is given Survivor and not really the true aesthetics of what we know Project Runway to be. Aren't the judges supposed to be picking who the bottom designers are? Like, this doesn't make sense. But who am I? So we get to the runway and we see that Winnie and Nina are going to be the guest judges for this week's challenge. Up first we have B. When the look comes out, obviously I'm like, wow, beautiful color, beautiful gown. The look hits for a red carpet. I'm just not sure if it works for the Devil Wears Prada. It feels a little like subdued and simple for what the challenge is calling for. It's Devil Wears Prada 2. In my opinion, it was a little older, it was a little too like matronly and a little too outdated. Yeah, I felt that it was a little safe, you know, especially for the first look coming out. There was nothing here that I was like so excited about. The color, nice. The nude illusion, nice. But, you know, sparkly fabric, beautiful gown. The following look is Jude, and to be honest, just like I feel about B, this was a little bit basic. It was a little safe. This is a look that has definitely been done. I feel that the black did not work well enough for the TV. Maybe in person, it read a little better. I thought there were wow factor elements of this look, but as a whole, I thought it was a little matronly. The lapel across the waistline was not the freshest, and the corset for some reason didn't read as sexy. After Jude, we have Joseph McCray, and to be quite honest with you, this look really hit for me. I feel like this is one of my favorite looks of the challenge. I feel it was very fresh, very modern. Heidi would have looked incredible in this look, The slit up the middle was a great idea. The buttons I can go back and forth on. The sleeves, I actually really love the volume of the sleeve with this dress because there was no straps, there was nothing, you know, for the neck, so it just gave room to breathe, and then it was just all drama. Next up we have Naheem, and thank God Naheem had immunity for this challenge because he ended up pivoting at the very last moment and made this dress within 3 hours, and it kind of looks like it was made in 3 hours. We're not gonna front here. The look was not the best, but what I do appreciate about this look is that within the pivot, Naheem was still able to hold on to what his aesthetics are as a designer, and I really give him kudos for that. It was a solid try there. We can trust the try, we can appreciate the try. But thank God he had immunity. The next look we have is Anna, and immediately when it comes out, it clips to her saying how much she is just not confident in this look. And the more she's not confident in the look, it makes me not feel confident in the look. Now granted, it is a simple black dress, beaded fabric, which you can never really go wrong with like a beaded fabric, you know, it's always gonna read as a little bit luxe, but this look is simple. It's again something we've seen done before. I think when we start to talk about like the freshness and the newness within this challenge, we have B, Jude, and Anna, who within my opinion, they all read as like safe and something that we've seen done before. Would Heidi look nice in it? Yes. Do we need to see her in it? Not so much. After Anna, we have Jeffrey. To be quite honest with you, from the moment Jeffrey was making it backstage until the moment it came out, I really thought that this was gonna be the winner for this challenge. We're gonna get to it in a second, but the fact that it's not the winner is actually a bit surprising. Now, I would have loved to see Winnie Harlow in this look more than I would like to see Heidi in the look, but top to bottom, it was great. Fabrication was great, back was great, you know, the cutout on the hip was great, the asymmetrical corset was amazing. 10 out of 10. Especially for a one-day challenge, 10 out of 10. Next up is Bobby. Okay, when we talk about Bobby, I want to talk about a few things. When it initially comes out, I'm like, no, hell no. They immediately, I think, start showing fringe and like all these different things. But the more you're like looking at it, it looks like something like Vivienne Westwood would make. There's a hint of this like old Western kind of theme. There were a couple of elements that I feel could have been altered or like taken away. If Heidi were to take this into a fitting, just as Law said during her critiques, I think that this look could have some adjustments that are like, you know, tweaked a little bit. Like maybe we take the shoulder thing off and put it somewhere else on the hip. But the look is given this asymmetrical like bust line thing, the fringe underneath, the corsetry. There was something there, but like it was a little sloppy. Now the final look that comes out is Bryan. Now when this look comes out, I'm gonna say, Bryan previously had another look on his mannequin, but when they had the walkthroughs, you know, he switched it up really fast, and good thing he did use this fabric, because this fabric, just like Jeffrey a bit, this fabric is working for him. The fabric did all the work for Bryan. A low size seam, a couple pleats. It comes out, it's flowing, it looks dramatic, the sheerness is kind of nice, and it's looking like Bryan could take it. Spoiler alert, he does. Heidi chooses him for the win, and don't you know it, just as Christian promised, Bryan now gets to pick who the bottom 3 designers are for this challenge, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. He chooses Bobby, Naheem, and Jude, which is crazy because, first of all, Naheem has immunity, so he can't even be eliminated anyway. I did find it interesting that him and Joseph McCray have been arguing this whole time, but he didn't choose to pick Joseph in the bottom if it was really like full-on strategy. Bryan says that these looks were chosen because they were the weakest for this week, and I kind of want to believe him a little bit. It does still seem like there's a little bit of strategy in there. Maybe he thought like, okay, Naheem has immunity, Jude's look was not so good, but not the bottom, so this is a shoo-in that Bobby is just gonna go for this episode. So unfortunately, Bobby is sent home and Jude gets to go backstage with the rest of the designers. Now at the end of the episode, we're now able to see what the look was given on the red carpet for Devil Wears Prada 2. And to be honest with you, these looks are not given the same. It gave something you ordered versus what you got, because what we saw on stage was very flowy, it was a bit sheer, and then this look comes out for the red carpet. The look is completely different than what it gave on stage. Just as Law said, when Bryan was making this look, he clearly was not fully thinking about Heidi here. and what he would do if Heidi were to actually wear this dress. The girl was a lot less bustier than Heidi is, and it reads that when you see it. But those are just my opinions. That's just what I think. Bryan is in the top. I'm very curious to see what his energy is going to be next week when we get back into the workroom. This was the recap for episode 6. I am very interested to see what the next episode is going to be. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and I'm sure you have your own views and comments. So please, like, share, and subscribe. Put down in the comments, who do you think is the forerunner of this competition right now? I'm very interested to see what you think, and thank you so much for continuing to watch these videos. I'm having a good time doing it at this point. But until the next time, ta-ta!